Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the KETIV Autodesk Virtual Academy. Today I'm joined by Loren Welch, Product Manager at Autodesk. Good morning, Loren.
Good morning.
Today we're doing something really cool. We're going over some of the Inventor 2017.3 updates. Something we kind of had to keep under wraps. Obviously, couldn't really talk about it. But it is available now, and for those who don't know how to get it, feel free to reach out to us or just go ahead and open your desktop app. I'm sure Loren might be able to go over some of that stuff with you as well. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and pass the mic to Loren. There's a lot of great stuff to see today, so make sure you stay tuned for the whole thing.
All right, thank you. And again, thanks everybody for joining. As was mentioned, I'm Loren Welch. I'm a product manager here at Autodesk on the Inventor team, and really wanted to take an opportunity to walk through our 2017.3 update. It's our third major update this year with the release of 2017. And just another effort of trying to provide continual value for our customers throughout the course of a year with the products we release at Autodesk, and specifically with Inventor. Before we get into all of the specific functionality, one of the things I really love to talk about is just kind of the strategy and the viewpoint we have here on the Inventor team when we look at enhancing and building Inventor in general. And we really look at things in three different areas. We have this area of perfecting Inventor, and what we're really talking about here is the core functionality that our customers use every day. And what are ways that we can make the software experience on that core functionality better, faster, and more streamlined. And so really it's about rounding out workflows, finishing what we start, and really giving the attention needed to the core tools inside of Inventor. So you'll always see a lot of this, and a lot of this flows really around things like the Inventor Ideas page, our alpha and beta programs. This is really where we're getting the feedback directly from our existing customers on things they need to save them clicks and time, and really round out the workflows they need to accomplish every day with their design platform. The second area we look at is called differentiate, but it's really about differentiation and innovation. And when we say that, we look at it in kind of two lenses. We talk about how can we give functionality that's industry leading and is unique to Inventor, both in our market space. So things like what we've done with AnyCAD. You'll see some other design tools are trying to put things in their platform similar to AnyCAD. I'm biased, but I'm right. They're all behind what we're doing with our AnyCAD and our associativity with file formats outside of native Inventor and Autodesk formats. We also look at things like modern experience, shape generator, interoperability with other Autodesk products, and how can we give our customers a unique advantage with Inventor, not only from a design market standpoint, but also give our customers ways that they can leverage Inventor so they can have a unique advantage in their own industries. And bridging to the future is really about Autodesk as a cloud company. And that typically means two different things, right? We have born in the cloud products and born in the cloud users. And we also have our desktop users of tools like Revit and AutoCAD and Max and Maya and Inventor. And what are ways we can leverage the cloud to give those users some real functionality benefits in their desktop tools? So now that you kind of get an idea of that, kind of high-level overview of how we look at adding to Inventor, let's talk specifically about what we've done for the 2017.3 update. It really is another example of what we're doing here on the Inventor team at Autodesk to really provide continued value for our customers on subscription and maintenance. And it's really about delivering, the standard product fixes, but also enhancements. So with .3, we really looked at enhancements around sketching and projections, interference in the assembly level, continuing to work on our 3D PDF publishing, done more work with our BIM interaction with the OmniClass product codes, and probably is equally important is just ideas feedback. What are the things that are requested directly from our users that I talked about earlier in that kind of perfecting bucket, and what are the ways we can add these value throughout the year without waiting till the next major release of Inventor to deliver on this functionality. And one of the things that's really exciting is what we've done with guided tutorials. So I'll talk about that in a little bit, but we've really taken it and made it so it's not just consuming guided tutorials that have been in the product for some time now, but also allowing our users to create, manage, and publish their own learning content within Inventor as a platform. So let me take a look just at a high level to talk about a lot of these ideas, commands, and enhancements that came in for the 2017.3 update. So again, we monitor the ideas page very heavily, and we take a look at what the users are saying from a request and what other users are agreeing with. So we've continued to do things with the measure command. So now when you click into the graphic area, it resets the measure tool automatically. So again, saving time and effort as you're using this tool. We've also added foot architectural to the dual units command inside of measure. So now you have all that displayed in both dual units. We've added the crossing select for any extrude or revolve type of command. So if you have multiple profiles, you can quickly use a crossing window to select all of those. Inside of the sketch environment, we had the select tangency that we've added with 2017 for tangent edges and faces. Now when you're inside a sketch or other commands, you can do that same thing. We've added a lot of robustness to projected and redefining sketch planes. So as you redefine a sketch from one sketch plane to another, the projected edges and reference geometry, the robustness has really come a long way. When we have things like sketch text inside of our files, we now have the ability to convert that directly into geometry, very similar to what you've seen in AutoCAD. In our application options, we've now separated out between parts and assemblies that ability to rotate and zoom to a sketch plane. From an interference analysis standpoint, we've done a lot of work with this tool to give users the ability to start filtering out different types of geometries, but also to really give it some intelligence with standard holes and fasteners. And we'll get into a lot of these in more detail later, but I wanted to kind of show some nice highlights of what we're looking to do or what we've delivered with the .3 update. So again, we'll go through some of these kind of fast, and we'll definitely hop into more detail here in a little bit. So let's start with the sketching. So I touched on it earlier during that video, but what we've really looked at doing is, we delivered the select tangency for both faces and edges earlier with 2017, and a lot of the feedback we got from the user community is they wanted to expand the usage of that type of selection from within different tools and commands. So now while you're in a variety of different commands or functions like project geometry, you have the ability with the double click or the right click select tangency to automatically chain all tangent geometry and make it part of that projection. We've also done a lot of work directly getting feedback from the user community on really maintaining references after you redefine a sketch. And we've all been there. You might create a sketch or a shape on one face of your model, a reference plane, and later on during the design you really find it needs to be either referenced back to a different sketch plane or model face, and it becomes an issue where as you redefine it, you have some challenges with some of the projected and reference geometry. We've really done a lot of work on really building the robustness in that area, so as projections change, you are able to maintain all of those references while you redefine the sketch plane. We've also added some nice things to the mini toolbar. So before, when you had to show or hide a sketch or share a sketch, those were all interactions you had to do from within the browser from the right-click menu. We've now added those to the mini toolbar, so when you're in Canvas and you're working, you have access to those tools. We showed it earlier, but the ability to convert text to geometry has been a huge ask from our customers, especially when you're doing things like, doing any type of things with water jets or laser cutting. You want those to be nice, clean lines and not text that can be much more difficult in the fabrication process. So let's hop into a little bit more detailed view of that. So here in the 2017.3 update, when I go ahead and I take and have a sketch that's aligned to certain geometry and I redefine that sketch plane, historically we could have a lot of issues or errors with our sketch references. And you can see with 27.3, we're able to maintain those in a much more robust manner. Here, when I'm inside of a sketch where I have text, with a right click I can convert to geometry, and here I have all of the standard geometry types that is very similar to AutoCAD, where now that text geometry is lines and arcs that can be easily manufactured. Here, you see on the mini toolbar, I have the ability to hide, show, as well as share and unshare sketches directly from the graphic area. When we take a look at assemblies, we've done two things. We've taken a look at some of the color overrides when users are performing shrink wrap workflows, and one of the biggest areas we've done a lot of work with is around assembly interference analysis. And so some of the big areas here is being able to treat subassemblies as individual components, which becomes very handy in large assemblies or when you're trying to really isolate interference groups. The other thing we're able to do is really give you much more intelligent feedback on the types of information around an interference. So a lot of information is easily there just by hovering over the particular interference, whether it's volume, location, as well as components that are involved. Depending on the type of interference, let's say you have like a pin in a hole that's a press fit, you're able to ignore or unignore specific interferences. And you can do that either by volume or by individual selection. When you have things like cosmetic threads and threaded fasteners, you know, it's always something that's very interesting where a lot of times people just try to ignore those, but we want to make the interference tool give our users a level of functionality outside of, is it the right size hole and the right size fastener? That's really important, but also what about threads? What if you have an M8 hole and an M10 fastener? Well, we want to be able to alert users of not only mismatched threads, but also misaligned threads with things like hole depth or left and right hand threading. So a lot of work has went into refining and improving the assembly interference tool to really meet a lot of these requests from our customers. So let's take a look at it in action. So again, here in the interference tool, once we define our interference selection sets, we can have the ability to treat subassemblies as components, or here you'll see the only information we have from an interference perspective in this case is just with our threads. So we can ignore certain interferences, we can unignore them later, and we also have all the information, in this case mismatched threads, and we can copy all that information with a single click to our clipboard, and in this case I pasted into Notepad if we need it for any other downstream applications. So not only is it letting us know the particular items involved from an interference labeling perspective, but also what parts are involved in the interference, the total interference volume, as well as the location and the type of interference. In this case, it was a thread depth mismatch in the first 7 components, and then we started getting into thread components being misaligned, where we have, you know, you've got a pitch of 5/8 18 and you've got another one of 5/8 11. So it's really letting us know not only from a depth but also from a pitch misalignment with some of those cosmetic threads inside of our assembly environment. So some really helpful tools inside of the Analyze Interference command in our side of our assemblies. Some other great general usability enhancements that were shown a little bit earlier at really fast pace, and we'll get into more detail. Things around measure. So the ability with the reset usability, as you're in the measure, if you're doing a lot of measurements or different types of measurements, it became cumbersome to kind of reset that tool. And now it's just a simple click out in the graphic area to reset the tool and ready to accept new inputs from a measure standpoint. Again, based on user feedback, we've added a dual unit option of foot architecture for dual units. For 3D PDFs, again, it was 3D PDFs was the #1 enhancement request for 2017 at its initial release, and we've continued to refine it based on user feedback. So we've done a lot of work on the published performance of 3D PDFs, as well as some of the options about view reps with color overrides inside of your design environment. The look at settings are now separate for either parts or assemblies. I think it's something that is probably common to all users. You know, inside the part environment, where historically you might have that generic setting turned on, you start a sketch, it rotates you to look normal to the sketch plane and gives you kind of a zoom fit orientation, which is usually exactly what users want at the part level. At the assembly level, if you're doing in-part editing on a component or assembly level sketch, sometimes just the pure size of the assembly is much larger than the sketch you're looking to build. And so having that look at and zoom at the assembly level was sometimes the exact opposite of what people wanted from their part environment. So now we've separated those options, so you can change the look at defaults between the part and assembly as two separate settings. So something that, again, has saved our users definitely a lot of time and clicks as they're doing this different work between the assembly and part sketching. From a BIM content standpoint, if you're using our BIM exchange tools, we've also continued to refine the different part classifications with OmniClass 2006 and 2012 settings. So this adds different classification codes for different types of components, and also aligns with our Revit tool on the AC side of the business to make sure we're staying in alignment from a BIM content creation standpoint. So again, let's take a little bit more detailed look at some of this. So here, from a rep standpoint, you can see I've got different color overrides. And now when I publish a 3D PDF, and I'll isolate just those two, we've done a lot of work on the performance side. So we've made that publishing of the 3D PDF quicker, and is not just quicker, but also supporting the different overrides that our customers have applied from a view rep or level of detail standpoint in the past. From a measure perspective, you can see here adding the dual units is a simple right click, and to restart the measure command, I just click in the graphic area. So again, select geometry, click in the white space, and continue measuring the different types of geometry that I'm interested in measuring. The next thing you'll see here is by opening an individual part file, under my application options, I now have look at settings specific to parts and assemblies in my sketch environment. By disabling those, it obviously keeps the current view orientation. By enabling those, it will do the default behavior of both looking normal to and doing a zoom to fit on those particular files. So again, having the difference between part files and assembly files can be quite handy when you're working on data sets of different size and scope from a geometry perspective. And one of the things that I'm really excited about, and I know a lot of our customers and channel partners are very excited about as well, is what we've done with guided tutorials. So guided tutorials have been in the product for some time now here in Inventor, and what it really gave our users was the ability to have, learning paths and tutorials around specific functionality or getting started as they went into Inventor. And what we really found from customers is they really liked what they had, but they wanted more. And by more, what they were really looking to do is, that's great that you've helped us learn the basics of Inventor, but at my company, we have certain design standards and practices that maybe we want all users to follow, or we have a specific type of way we design this type of part, and we use this command instead of this other one. And so it really became a way of, how can we maintain and make our own content and training, and then share that with users. And so that's really the next step of learning with the guided tutorials platform inside of Inventor Professional. So 2017.3, we've added just that, the ability to create your own tutorials and share them. And you can share them publicly on the Autodesk Knowledge Network, or you can share them privately via email, via somebody's email address or their Autodesk ID, so they have private access to any tutorials that are created. So when we looked at this, we looked at it a few different ways. So who are the types of people that want to create content, right? Well, there's us here at Autodesk. We we create content for our products, both from a learning perspective or as just part of our products release to show people what's new, or how we intend a command to be used based on how we built it, right? So from a very basic perspective. There's also this ability where maybe, again, internally at a company, some companies have things like SharePoint sites or internal websites or repositories they use for their own internal standards and training content. Well, we want to give them another platform where they could create this content inside of guided tutorials within Inventor, and then take that content and share it privately just with their users. Obviously, there's educators, there's people in the Inventor community who maybe like to have a broader, our expert elite Inventor users provide a lot of content to the knowledge network, and we just want to give them just another platform to continue adding help and tips and tricks for the greater Autodesk community and Inventor community as a whole. And then with your channel partners, your resellers like KETIV, there might be specific types of training or best practices that they want to make sure they have access to their customers. And so we want to give them a platform to do that and to publish this type of content for consumption. So here's kind of a nice overview of what we've done with guided tutorials. And it's not just the ability to, use screencast and record your screen. It's really about building a really intelligent learning platform. So, you've seen things before where you could play tutorials inside of inside of the guided tutorials option, and you can see it shows you where to click, highlights the interface. You have different start geometry parts. So here, if we were to walk through the real basics, naming your tutorial, give a brief description. Maybe you want to add thumbnail images so people can understand, what the end result is, and you can tie it to different IPT or IAM files and make them part of this tutorial. Not only that, we give you the ability to go in and leverage tools like screencast and highlight different icons or buttons that need to be used as the tutorials are created. And then the last part of that is obviously deciding who you want to share it with. The last thing we'll talk about, and I know Nigel had mentioned at the very top of the call, was how do you get this update? So hopefully you guys have the Autodesk desktop app installed, and if you did, then starting on Tuesday when Inventor 2017.3 released, you should have got a pop-up update letting you know that there was an update available for Inventor. And then it walks you right through downloading and installing that update, and you still have the conventional ways of going to your accounts page at manage.autodesk.com and accessing your software entitlements there and downloading any updates or installs that are required. But again, the Autodesk desktop application has made things very easy from understanding what software is available from a release and update perspective, and just really streamlining how that gets from a released update down to installed and used on your system. So with that, that kind of takes me to the end to the 2017.3 update. And just one of the things I'd like to highlight is our team at Autodesk has really done, our development team, both from the alpha and beta site and customer success, that Inventor Ideas page, we've had from the 2017 release through R2 and our .3 updates. We're really coming close to pushing over 100 user-specific Inventor ideas that we put into the product throughout the course of the year. And I just think hats off to that team for the work they've done. I know from working with them on a daily basis how hard they work and how much pride they take in delivering those types of updates to the end customers based on direct feedback that you all have provided us. So thank you for the feedback, and thank you for the time this morning.
Definitely, and thank you, Loren, for being here for us today. So right now I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. So if you have one, go ahead and type that into the chat box at any time. Before we get to that, though, while everyone's typing out their questions here, I'm just going to go ahead and mention that we do have a really special event this December that actually Loren's going to join us for, which is our Inventor Insider event. And Loren, do you want to kind of go over a little bit about what that is?
Sure. One of the things we really pride ourselves on is we're getting that feedback from our customers, is really seeing what we can do from getting direct feedback with their hands on the software. And so I know there's a few Autodesk people on the line, and Chris Mitchell is one of those guys that really helps run our alpha and beta site. And so if you've used that and you've provided feedback in the beta forums, we greatly appreciate that, and thank you very much. But the other thing we like to do is really get customers previews of actual software, of things that are coming down from an Inventor perspective. So really excited that we're working with KETIV to have an event in early December to really work with our customers, and you get to interact with the Inventor, both product management, quality, user experience, and development teams, to really test out some of the things we're working on for future versions of Inventor, and really get direct feedback and insight onto how you'd use the tool, if you like it, if you don't like it, and really have, more than anything, just a direct interaction with the Inventor team. So I would encourage you to register and sign up, and really looking forward to this event in December with both the customers and the KETIV folks.
Definitely. So I went ahead and posted a link to that actual sign-up page. Make sure you go ahead and click that and fill out the information. We're doing the event on the 6th and the 7th of December, so there is an option there to pick whatever day. So it's a little more open to people's schedules. I do understand that it is sometimes a little bit difficult to get some time off to play around in the new versions of the software or things that are upcoming. So this is the page that I linked you all to. This is the Inventor Insider page, and just go ahead and feel free to sign up here. But we'll go ahead and answer a couple of these questions now. So this first question comes from Andy Johnson, and Andy mentions, are the guided tutorial creator only available in Inventor Professional?
They're available in all versions of Inventor. Inventor Professional is the main product that we ship. Are you talking about between? I guess I have to ask clarification. I don't believe it's available in Inventor LT, if that's the question. But yes, in full Inventor Professional, all versions are available. So whether you get it through a suite or a collections, it's available.
Definitely, and we can. If you have any more questions about that, Andy, we're more than happy to take a look at that for you. So let's see here. We got a question here from Paul, and Paul asks, do I need to get the new version of Adobe Acrobat Professional to utilize the 3D PDFs? Is it universally read?
It is universally read. If you're looking, from a reader perspective, it's just, uses Acrobat. If you're looking to create new 3D PDF templates, then you will need full-blown, the full-blown Adobe PDF tool for that. Yeah.
Definitely. And let's see. We've got one here from Alan, and Alan asks, any future plans for addition of third-party software to interface, like 3D Systems, DesignX, and ControlX softwares?
So that's really, if you rewinding back to one of my first slides when we talk about kind of the bridge to the future with Inventor technology, and we talk about things like microservices, that really falls under a lot of what we're doing with our Forge platform and our Forge initiative, where we're taking components of a lot of Autodesk technologies and making them available for third parties from an app development standpoint. So I would encourage you to look at the Forge platform that Autodesk has released, and there are definitely, we're making significant investments from the Inventor side on components of Inventor to be available on the Forge platform.
All right. I think that's all for questions. I'll go ahead and give everyone another 20-30 seconds here. I'd just like to reiterate that the Inventor Insider event that's happening here in December, super, super important and exclusive. So seats are filling up super quick, but as AVA customers, you kind of have first look at, or first, access to the sign-up page. So it looks like we already have a couple of people who are interested. So just make sure that if you are, you sign up pretty soon here, and make sure that you attend. If you have any questions about it, please reach out to myself or reach out to anybody here on the KETIV team. We're more than happy to help in any way that we can. And accommodate you in any way that we can as well. So if there are any questions about that, please let us know either via any way to reach us, phone, email, or at the survey at the end of this. So this is what that question at the end of all of the surveys has been about. If you want to attend, if you have any interest in attending a future event that KETIV is holding, this is that event. So those of you who have already mentioned that you are interested in this event in the past via the surveys, I'll be reaching out to you individually and we can get you signed up that way as well. It looks like there's no other questions that came in. So again, I'd like to thank you, Loren, for being here today, and some of the other Autodeskers in attendance for assisting with this as well.
No, glad to do it. And again, thank you everybody for your time this morning, and really looking forward to seeing a lot of people face to face in December.
Definitely. So we'll be seeing you then, and everyone have a great weekend, and for those of you who are going to AU, have fun out there. Definitely a great experience. Maybe you can meet Loren even before this December event. So With that, I'll let you all go and enjoy your Thursdays. So I'll see you all later. Bye bye.